Top stories tonight. 15 abducted Sangaya students regain freedom. Delta governor raises alarm over 2 communities spoiling for war. Rivers State House of Assembly rules against Governor Fubara enacts Service Commission law. South Africa's Parliament Speaker rejects corruption probe, says it is politically motivated. Thank you for joining us. I'm Felicity Ezewike. Let's begin by telling you that 15 students abducted at the Quranic school in Sokoto State have regained their freedom. The students were kidnapped at Gaidam Bakuso village in Gada local government area while running into their rooms to escape attack on the community 2 weeks ago. The victims were abducted hours before the graduation ceremony of the state's Community Guards Corps created to fight banditry. The proprietor of the Sangaya school in Gaidam Bakuso, Liman Abubakar, had told newsmen that bandits invaded the community, shot one person, and abducted a woman. Now, while the dust of the Okwama bloodbath is yet to settle, we understand 2 other communities in Delta State, South Nigeria, seem bent on going to war with each other. The state governor, Sheriff Oborowori, revealed this when he met with the State Traditional Rulers Council in Asaba over the recent unrest in Okwama and Okoloba communities, both in Ugeli South and Bomadi local government areas of the state. Governor Oborowori, however, did not name the feuding communities.
Bargain for peace. And I was promised the time that I'm governor for all levels to bring development in the democracy to our people, or to be relevant. There was crisis. Also, I got information that some Latin villages are also willing to fight. They should not. There's one village, Ugeli South, one village, Bomadi. They fight, that is their problem. To face it. This is not the time to fight.
The federal government of Nigeria said states are slowing down the takeoff of state police, frowning at the snail-like speed by the National Economic Council's Ad Hoc Committee on State Policing Initiative. Vice President Kasim Shettima observed that responses by some governors were not impressive. Although President Bola Tinubu and 36 governors resolved to set in motion the machinery for the state policing model a month ago, only 16 states have shown a positive response. During the National Economic Council meeting, the Vice President, who chairs that organ of government, urged the remaining 20 governors to submit their proposals during next month's NEC meeting. To discuss this, I'm joined by Public Affairs Analyst Ahmed Hussaini. Ahmed, thank you very much for joining us.
Hello, thank you.
36 governors, only 16 have shown interest in this model. Do you think that the federal government is right with its position that some of these state governors are the one slowing down the process of creating state police?
I think it's a bit misleading to say the remaining 20 states were actually or are actually against the establishment of state police. I think what is happening with the remarks made by the Vice President is that 16 out of 36 states actually submitted a memorandum stating their position on the creation of state police. 20 states are yet to do so, and he's urging these 20 states to actually expedite actions, on submitting their own memorandum to the National Economic Council.
While we wait for them to make a decision, the country is experiencing multi-dimensional challenges. Will state policing, in your view, correct the existing fundamental flaws in the security framework?
I think for me that remains to be seen, but what is inevitable is Nigeria is now on the path towards creating a state police, We've had, several talks and commitment from, various, groups agitating for the establishment of state police. But right now, we've seen some serious effort on the part of the federal government to put into motion the process for creating state police in Nigeria. Yeah, we may ask. Of course, there are downsides. There are, pros and cons of, of establishing a state of police. Number one of the advantages is actually it will actually lead to localized law enforcement, because local people, states establishing their own police, they have better understanding of their own local dynamics. And it will also lead to faster responses, enhanced efficiency in terms of deployment of resources, customized law enforcement approach, because the state police can actually tailor their own response to suit their own local peculiarities. And there's also the issue of trust building, fostering closer ties and collaborations between law enforcement and communities. And there's also the advantage of flexibility and innovation, because states that are actually flexible and highly innovative can actually take a very giant step towards making their own state police actually better than other states that are lagging behind in terms of innovation. And that this will also encourage knowledge and best practice sharing among states. But there are also disadvantages that we've seen, several times people talking about disadvantages. And I think one important disadvantage in Nigerian context, now current Nigerian context, is political interference actually by state governors or politicians generally. And people actually have made mention of several other instances where devolution of power by the federal government leads to actually worsening of situation at state level. One of this is actually when the joint account with local governments, when local government were now subsumed under state control. You see local elections in different states with the ruling party in that state winning all the elections. So the elections at local levels actually lost their credibility. You've also seen this with legislative independence at the state level. There are different instances where federal government actually devolves some power to the state, but it ends up worsening the overall constitutional process and democratic experience in Nigeria. So it is yet to be seen what this state police is going to actually. Is it going to turn out just like we have with local government elections, or we have with state legislatures, or it's going to actually lead to more faster law responses and more efficient law enforcement at the local level?
Yeah. I do have other questions for you, but something you said that I find a bit intriguing is the worry about political influence. However you look at it, whatever reforms you make, there will always be political influence, and sometimes this might be detrimental. But despite that, is the advantages of having state police a little more better than having this lump sum that we have at the moment?
Yes, actually, I believe that if we want to make it work, we can. When we have a state police, we stand to benefit from the advantages of having a localized law enforcement that is compatible with individual peculiarities and local realities in our respective states. But for us to achieve that, there are a lot of issues, because now when we know that there's a risk of political interference and risk of abuse of power by politicians, we have to actually create or establish some kind of checks and balances in order to stop that. One of this is actually to establish clear jurisdictional boundaries between federal and states, and also some form of coordination mechanism between, among states themselves, because maybe the state police are prosecuting a crime, and then maybe between, say, Kaduna and Kano, they share boundaries, and then you need to actually understand, at what level does do the police in actually Kaduna can actually contact or coordinate with ones in Kano if the crisis or the criminal activity they're investigating actually spills over to the other state. So there's the issue of coordination. There's also the issue of oversight and accountability. Who is going to actually oversee this? Who is going to actually ensure there's accountability? There's also the issue of training and standards, so that state police officers can have the same rank, or their ranks or ranks standards should be uniform, because they should have their ranks that are equivalent to the ones at the federal level. So you don't have some commissioner of police at the state level who may not even, be at the level of, the same.
I do agree with you. You raise pertinent issues, and checks and balances are imperative. We are going to make any headway. Thank you very much for speaking with us. I'm told we're out of time for this conversation.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Staying with security matters, President of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Daniel Oko, has urged the government of Plateau State to engage in programs that will enthrone peace and security to the state. The CAN president was speaking during his visit to victims of the Christmas Eve attack on Bokos local government area of Plateau State. News Center's Chizoba Anyowe tells us more.
This is what lunchtime looks like in the internally displaced persons camps. It is on this premise that Christians in Plateau State have been urged to remain committed to programs of peace building, even in the face of violent attacks being recorded in many parts of the country. Leader of the Christian Association of Nigeria said the church is worried, looking at the conditions faced by the internally displaced persons on the aftermath of crisis.
We have come to stand in solidarity with the people of Bokos local government and the people of Plateau State to pray with them and to bring our humble supplies to the people in this camp, and to also give hope to our people.
Chairman of Bokos local council area says his people are encouraged by the show of love from the public.
The local government, in conjunction with the state and the federal government, have put in place a roadmap to see that roofing materials are provided so that those houses that were burned down are re-roofed for the IDPs to go back to their place of abode.
Earlier, at a courtesy call on the governor, CAN was urged not to relent in her efforts for national discourse as Nigeria faces series of insecurities.
If there was a time that the nation needs moral direction, it's now. And I believe that CAN should be able to be in the vanguard of that and speak up for the vulnerable, speak up for the disadvantaged, speak up for the oppressed, and insist that the right things be done in the right way at the right time.
As much as this goodwill is appreciated, priority need for these internally displaced persons here is to return to their ancestral homes to begin their normal lives again, if only their security can be guaranteed. In Bokos, local council area of Plateau State, for News Central, Chizoba Anyowe.
Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has assured the Nigerian military that the FCT administration will be providing drones for security surveillance of the entire capital. This was during a visit by the Chief of Defense Staff, who had informed the minister of the setup of a rapid response squad expected to support the police in responding to insecurity challenges. Amadine Uyi reports.
The visit to the Federal Capital Territory Administration was led by the Chief of Defense Staff. The Defense Chief appealed for the support of citizens and commended Nigerians for standing by the military following the murder of 17 military officers in Delta State.
The recent unfortunate incident where I lost 17 men in Delta State, I've seen words of consolation from Nigerians all over because of the heinous crimes that were committed, because of the way it was even done.
He says that the Defense Headquarters has set up a rapid response squad expected to partner with the police to improve the security situation in the federal capital. The minister commended these efforts, assuring that the FCT will support the military and provide drones for their operations.
Within Abuja, we know we have these issues of one chance and few kidnappings here and there. We're working together with the police, but we know we need your support. On our own, even before now, since last year, we have set up a committee to look at how do we respond to these issues. One, we are not the first responders, So firstly is to support the police in achieving the mandate, whatever they're doing. And in doing that, we are building up a rapid response team that will involve ground troops and air.
We have provided engaging security to buy or purchase drones so that to help the security agencies in trying to reduce the level of crime in LCT.
The minister also pledged to stand by the military and ensure their problems with logistics and others are resolved.
I know how many soldiers you've lost in terms of fighting Boko Haram, bandits, and other kind of crime. So you require support in all ramifications. You require support. And like I said to you, whatever thing you think FCT can do, for you, don't hesitate to tell us. I'll do it for you.
He assured the defense headquarters that unresolved issues over certification of military lands in Abuja will be resolved. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
Many thanks, Amadine. You're watching tonight. Coming up, Rivers Assembly overrides Governor Fubara, enacts Service Commission law. We have details after the break. Do join us again. If you have just joined us, you're watching tonight. A reminder of our top stories. 15 abducted Sangaya students regain freedom. Delta governor raises alarm over 2 communities spoiling for war. Rivers State House of Assembly rules against Governor Fubara, enacts Service Commission law. South Africa's Parliament Speaker rejects corruption probe, says it is politically motivated. The Rivers State House of Assembly has vetoed Governor Siminalayi Fubara over the Rivers State House of Assembly Service Commission law. The lawmakers, who are loyal to the immediate past governor of the state and minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, took the decision on Friday after convening an impromptu sitting. The development is the second after the House last January overrode Governor Fubara over 4 bills it passed into law following the governor's refusal to assent to them. During the sitting, the Speaker, Martins Amawule, read 4 letters addressed to him by the governor, wherein he declined his assent to the 4 new bills, which were earlier sent to him for that. In a somber development, residents of the Ilasan Jakande Estate in Lekki are facing the harsh reality of losing their homes once again. The demolition leaves the displaced without shelter and brings back the haunting memories of the Maroko demolition in 1990. News Centre's Ni Omoni completes the report.
As bulldozers tear down structures and families are forced to evacuate, the sense of déjà vu is palpable. Many here have been through these before, some more than once. For them, the traumatic experience of being displaced yet again leaves them caught in the cycle of loss and uncertainty. Amidst the rubble and chaos, stories of resilience and heartbreak emerge as residents grapple with the harsh reality of being uprooted once more.
I was very small. My mom told me about the history of Maroko, how my elder father Onai fell down from a story building when army come with their wahala. And this one again, they came again without informing us. They come suddenly, breaking house, damage house, even our children's school now, we don't know where we start. Food to eat now, we don't know where we start. Water things are very difficult. So they didn't see us as a human being. They see us as an animal. Are we not a human being? Are we a goat?
How many people can we reckon with this demolition that has died? And with all said and done, what have you done? Are you not Nigerians? Look at our buildings. Some were uncompleted. When we reach here, we place windows.
The echoes of the past resonate loudly as they navigate through the wreckage of their homes, left stranded and grappling with the harsh realities of starting afresh.
It's wrong. It's a shameful act. There's no two ways about it. And the whole world is seeing us, looking at us now. How do we help ourselves out? The governor has to apologize to the people that he put to shame, to the life that they have, the lives that are lost, and the people that are homeless, that are crying, looking for help through other means.
As the community mourns the loss of their once vibrant neighborhood, questions linger about the future and the fate of those who have been dealt this cruel hand.
If they want to rebuild it, they can resettle us here, anywhere where they like. They should resettle us well. Because they may be thinking, say, they have power. The power of God is more than.
The shadows of the past looming large over Jakande Estate Ilasan Lekki serves as a stark reminder of the insecurity it poses for those who call it their home. In Lagos for News Central, Ni Omoni.
The disruption to global supply chains from Houthi attacks on Red Sea shipping could drive up inflation and raise the prices of essential commodities such as oil and gas, posing problems for import-dependent African countries with a large trade deficit. Countries like Egypt, Ghana, Ethiopia, and Nigeria are already struggling with rising prices. These attacks have prompted many of the world's largest freight companies to avoid passing through the Red Sea and Suez Canal, prompting them to reroute their ships around the Cape of Good Hope. These reroutes, caused by the global disruption, hurt trade. It has also become a source of worry as it impacts the shipping business in Africa.
The Suez Canal was massive because you had a lot of vessels lying there, because vessels had only two options. It's either you wait or you go the longer route through Cape of Good Hope and then coming up. So it disrupted the global supply chain. It's likely going to push up oil prices. Of course, there's going to be scarcity of commodities in some African countries. The Suez Canal is the most important shipping route in international trade. That is the route through which goods come from Asia into Europe. The whole world doesn't trade through that very particular route. There are other canals, Panama Canal and the rest of them. But the point is that in terms of volume, the Suez Canal alone does about 20% of the entire shipping. In fact, I think in 2023, it did about 1 billion tons of goods. So it's a very, very, so the fact that there was a challenge there has disrupted supply chain globally, completely. I mean, oil prices going to be affected because of the route. Every other thing, manufactured goods, other commodities for the house are also going to be affected, particularly in some African countries.
Find out more about how this trade disruption affects trade, supply chain, and raises worry about food crisis in Africa. Watch Maritime Radar on Saturday, 7 p.m. with a repeat broadcast on Sunday, 1 p.m. here on News Central. World Water Day is an annual United Nations observance held on March 22 every year to highlight the importance of fresh water. The day is used to advocate for the sustainable management of freshwater sources, with this year's theme being Water for Peace. News Centre's Bettina Uweli reports.
Lagos, as a coastal state, is bordered to the south by the Atlantic Ocean. It is occupying about 180 kilometers of Nigeria's 850-kilometer coastal line. A major part of the state is an island surrounded by water. The sad reality is that the most common way of getting relatively fresh water is through street vendors selling water in containers. During the World Water Day in 2023, the Lagos Water Corporation shared that Lagos needed around 650 million gallons of water per day, but that it could only match a third of the demand.
Lagos State government should begin revamping one after the other the 48 water utilities in the state and then keep it under public control so that people of the state will begin to gradually have access to water.
Despite this unpleasant reality, a 2022 UNICEF report says that over 65% of Nigerians have access to basic drinking water supply services. This data is the reverse in some African countries. Between Papua New Guinea at 55% and Ethiopia at 50%, there are 3 other countries where more than half the population do not have access to clean water. Back in Lagos, with a constantly rising population and a poor waste disposal lifestyle, the waterways suffer huge pollutions, threatening marine lives. This has constantly attracted condemnation of authorities. The salty nature of the water in Lagos has been a challenge to potable water. Many households in the city depend on boreholes and underground wells for water supply, with the attendant risks. In some places, the sewage lines are quite close to the boreholes, very significantly increasing the danger of pollution. From the highbrow part of the city to the semi-urban areas, the story is almost the same.
When you look at this tank now, you can see the tank, that the water there, the tank is already contaminated. It's a serious pollution. The waters are not drinkable. Most of the houses in this area, up to about 100 meters to this place, the waters are not drinkable.
It's not hygienic, or at the same time, it's not ideal, and at the same time, it's very dangerous for the community. Most of this water here, we cannot drink it again because of the pollution of our petrol.
Wildlife in some parts of the continent are threatened by drought. Flooding has posed a perpetual risk to Lagos, one that is only worsened by climate change and the city's unregulated growth. In keeping with demands for rapid growth, Lagos residents have transformed the swampy wetlands around their city into sprawling developments, with a good portion of Lagos's massive urban weight being built on sandy sediments that sink over time.
When we're saying environment, we're saying our life support system. That's exactly what it is. And then to bring it home even closer, it's not just my life support system. It's not just your life support system. It's our children's life support system.
Advanced climes have developed means of recycling water in order to serve 2 purposes: improve access to clean water and also save the atmosphere from the harsh effect of climate change. This may no longer be seen as luxury, but an emergency for any society with eyes on realistic development. Water can create peace or spark conflict, and the Sustainable Development Goals Initiative of the United Nations seem to be quite aware of this. When water is scarce or polluted, or when people have unequal or no access, tensions can arise between communities and countries. As climate change impacts increase and populations grow, there is an urgent need within and between countries to unite around protecting and conserving humanity's most precious resource. In Lagos, for News Central, Bettina Nwili.
Thank you, Bettina. 2 female students of the Nasarawa State University have died in a stampede while struggling to receive food items being distributed at the school. 17 others sustained various degrees of injuries. News Central learned that the state government had provided 7-kilogram bags of rice and some cash gift for each student. The stampede occurred when students stormed the venue for the distribution even before it commenced. Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule has expressed shock over the untimely death of the 2 female students. The governor, through a statement, called for calm while emphasizing that the state government will not be distracted in continuing with the distribution of palliatives aimed at ameliorating the hardship being faced by students and the people of the state in general. Governor Sule directed relevant agencies to commence investigation into the cause of the incident. Still ahead, South Africa Parliament Speaker says corruption probe politically motivated. We have details after the break. Siviwe Mapisa Nkakula has lodged an urgent application against the state in a bid to halt her looming arrest. Her attorney, Stephen May, who confirmed this on Friday, said they are waiting for the state's representatives to respond and inform them of the opposition. The Speaker's attorney believes an investigation by the state prosecutors was politically motivated. This comes amid reports that Mapisa Nkakula handed herself over to the police at the Central Police Station in Pretoria. It's also anticipated that she will appear before the Commercial Crimes Court in Pretoria. Mapisa Nkakula is facing allegations of corruption that she received over 2 million rand in tender bribes from a contractor to the South African National Defence Force while she was the Minister of Defence. The Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton, says she is in the early stages of treatment after cancer was found in tests. In a video statement, she says it was a huge shock after an incredibly tough couple of months, but she sent a positive message saying she is well and getting stronger every day. Details of the cancer have not been disclosed, but Kensington Palace says it is confident the princess will make a full recovery. The princess' statement explains that when she had abdominal surgery in January, it was not known that there was any cancer. She said she was thinking of those who had been affected by cancer.
In January, I underwent major abdominal surgery in London, and at the time, it was thought that my condition was non-cancerous. The surgery was successful. However, tests after the operation found cancer had been present. My medical team therefore advised that I should undergo a course of preventative chemotherapy, and I'm now in the early stages of that treatment. But most importantly, it has taken us time to explain everything to George, Charlotte and Louis in a way that's appropriate for them and to reassure them that I'm going to be okay. As I've said to them, I am well and getting stronger every day by focusing.
Let's join our business desk for today's business news.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
Welcome to Business News. The Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NASIMA, has opposed the lifting of foreign exchange restrictions on milk and dairy imports. President Dele Oye cited concerns over potential drawbacks, including reduced local production and the depreciation of the naira. Oye proposed a gradual transition to allow domestic producers time to adjust while supporting local dairy farmers. He stressed the importance of consistent customs duty payments and advocated for measures to stabilize the national currency and promote fair trade practices. Nigerian shippers attribute the rising inventory among manufacturers to the high cost of cargo clearance and fluctuating exchange rates. During the press conference of the National Shippers Association of Nigeria, NSAN, industry representatives expressed concerns about the prolonged exchange rate crisis and inconsistent government policies. They also highlighted the challenges of complex and costly clearing processes, inadequate infrastructure, and low consumer demand. The President General of NSAN, Innocent Akuvwe, emphasized the need for stakeholder consultation in policy implementation. Ijoma Ezeaso, Secretary General of NSAN and Director of QTIX PLC, pointed out that manufacturers' warehouses were filled due to affordability issues. South African Water Minister Senzo Mchunu intends to revamp the national water industry and relieve municipalities of their responsibility for water provision due to supply disruptions that have incensed citizens just months before national elections. The comprehensive reforms aim to attract private investment, ensure accountability, and address the crisis of widespread outages, including recent ones in Johannesburg. Uchula expressed deep concern about the situation and plans to establish a national water resources infrastructure agency and amend legislation to enforce performance-based water service provider appointments by municipalities. Income from water provision will be earmarked for infrastructure upgrades and partnerships with private companies. And finally, traders reported a decline in the Ugandan shilling on Friday, driven by heightened demand for dollars from the energy and manufacturing sectors. At 8:53 GMT, commercial banks quoted the exchange rate at 3,890 to 3,900 shillings per dollar. This marks a slight weakening from Thursday's closing rate of 3,880 to 3,890. These are the business stories we're tracking at this hour. Thank you for watching. I am Perpetua Fasami Peter. The news continues shortly. Bye for now.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money. Sports update brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
Welcome to Sports Update. I am Favor Itua. We begin with stories from the world of boxing, where Team Nigeria's boxing contingent have continued their impressive showing at the African Games, winning gold medals in different categories. 10 of the 11 boxers registered for the Games made it to the final in different various categories. First, Joy Ojo was handed the gold medal in the women's 57-kilogram category after her Algerian opponent failed to show up. The Paris 2024 Olympics-bound Dolapo Omole defeated Sigakwi Amando Rigoberto of Mozambique in the men's 57-kilogram category after the referee stopped the contest. Patricia Mbata and another Olympic-bound star, Adams Olaore, also won gold medals. The performance is a major improvement on the team's last appearance at the Games in Rabat, where they could only win 1 gold, 1 silver, and 5 bronze medals. Away from boxing now to the world of football. Earlier today, AFCON 2023 silver medalists, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, defeated the Black Stars of Ghana 2-1 in an international friendly match that took place in Marrakech, Morocco. The match was the first for both sides since their contrasting AFCON campaigns as they prepare for the resumption of the 2026 FIFA qualifiers in June. Striker Siri Dezers scored from the penalty spot after 38 minutes before Ademola Lookman added a second in the 84th minute. Jordan Ayew scored a late consolation for the Black Stars from the penalty spot in the 95th minute. The win was interim coach Finidi George's first after succeeding Jose Peseiro at the helm of the Super Eagles earlier this week. The team will now next face Mali at the same venue next week, of course, on Tuesday. Reigning London Marathon and Chicago Marathon champion Sifan Hassan has withdrawn from the World Cross Country Championships billed to begin in Belgrade, Serbia on the 30th of March. According to the 31-year-old Dutch star, who is also the double European Cross Country champion, she wants to give her body more time to heal as she focuses on the 2024 Paris Olympic Games and wants to avoid any unwanted injuries. Meanwhile, defending champion Beatrice Chibet, world 10-kilometer record holder Agnes Ngetich, and Sirakwa Classic Cross Country champion Immaculate Anyango will now compete for the top places at the championships. And now to the world of football. Future FC striker Ahmed Rifat has gained consciousness after suffering a heart attack on Monday, March 11th, when Future traveled to face Etihad of Alexandria in the Egyptian Premier League. The 30-year-old made his introduction shortly after the hour mark, replacing Ali Mahmoud Zaza before collapsing on the pitch with 2 minutes remaining to full time. After 2 weeks, Rifat has now regained consciousness and will now take a while to get back to playing football pitch again. And now to the world of athletics. Americans Fred Kelly and Christian Coleman headlined the strong field of the 100-meter at the Shanghai Suzhou Diamond League meeting scheduled for April 27th in China. Coleman, who is the 60-meter world record holder, had a great start to his season, winning the 60-meter title at the World Indoor Championships by beating triple world champion Noah Lyles, and will be up against his compatriot Kelly, who had a great start to the season and will be eyeing a ticket to the Olympic Games. The Olympic Games silver medalist made his 60-meter debut this year at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix and has finished an impressive fourth in the race that was won by Lyles. And that's it up on Sports Update, and Favor Itwa.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
Up next is entertainment with Jadel Simon.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
Nigeria's music star Ara Star recently shared insights into her upcoming sophomore album in an interview. She described it as a more mature rendition of her debut album, 19 and Dangerous, targeting a broad audience. Her hit single, Koma, currently dominates Spotify's Afrobeats chart for 2024. She also announced a new single dropping next month and expressed her excitement to join Chris Brown on his 11/11 tour, where she'll be accompanied by R&B star Muni Long. Let's listen to Ara Star.
My album this is my second album, and I've been working on it like for some time now. Sonically is like a more evolved version of me when I was like in the stage of 19 and Dangerous. That's when I was 19, because now I'm 21, you know. Excuse me, adult, I pay taxes. Right. I pay taxes and now, you know, you get me? Like? So, like, yeah, this is, like, very evolved. It's just me talking about, like, the journey of being a 21-year-old in this, like, era right now, and also how 21 is just a state of mind. And I want everybody that listens to it, no matter your age, I want you to feel 21, you know, from the experiences to the happiness, commas, to just, like, being that girl and just being confident.
Now, legendary high-life singer Godwin Kabaka Opara has passed away at the age of 77. His record label Dada Promotions confirmed his demise in a statement today, describing him as an esteemed artist who revolutionized high-life music in the 1970s. Kabaka, known for his role in the defunct Oriental Brothers Band, was a talented songwriter and guitarist whose career spans decades and genres. In 1973, he co-founded the Oriental Brothers International Band, known for its socially conscious lyrics and captivating sound, transitioning to a solo career in 1976 with the Kabaka International Guitar Band. He released 14 albums, including hits like Mangala Special, showcasing his versatility with Ezebongo rhythms. And that's where we call it a wrap on entertainment tonight. Next is trending after this short break.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
And now, moving away from entertainment news, Naira is trending again. In a noteworthy development for the Nigerian economy, the Naira is showing signs of strengthening following recent governmental initiatives, from the prohibition of Binance operations to the collaboration between the Central Bank of Nigeria and Bureau de Change operators. Measures are being taken to bolster the currency's value. Currently, the Naira stands at 1,362 Naira per dollar, marking a notable improvement from the 1,800 naira per dollar last week. Amidst this positive shift, concerns linger amongst Nigerians regarding the persistent high prices of goods. Many are calling on traders and vendors to adjust their pricing strategies to reflect the evolving currency dynamics, ensuring that the benefits of the naira's appreciation are felt across the nation. Let us take some reactions to these statements and see how Nigerians are reacting to this on social media. Niger Parrot is saying the rate is coming down, but goods are not coming down. Nigerians are Nigerians' problems. And then we have Food Doctor saying, dear Nigerian food vendors, dollar has dropped small. It is time to reduce the prices of food items you sell. And then our last tweet is from Crossed Butterfly saying, it is wild how Nigerians are blaming the dollar for rising prices when it is not even on the rise anymore. Like, can we take a second to address the real issues, which is the greed of Nigerian vendors? That's why we'll call it a wrap tonight on What's Trending. Please join the conversation and share your thoughts across our social media platforms. We are at News Central TV. I am Jadel Simon.
And that's all tonight, but before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. 15 abducted Sangaya students have regained freedom. Delta State Governor has raised alarm over 2 communities spoiling for war. Rivers State House of Assembly has ruled against Governor Fubara, enacted Service Commission law. We also brought you news that South Africa's Parliament Speaker has rejected corruption probe, said it is politically motivated. Would like to hear from you? Please send your eyewitness reports to the numbers showing now on your screen. You can also do that by following our social media handles at News Central TV. We're live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Apple TV, and on YouTube. Thank you.